Welcome to Unethical Podcast.
It's nearly 9 a.m. here for me on Monday.
Oh my God.
So
how's the future?
it's the same, man.
Yeah, Christy, thanks for giving us a heads up about 9/11, asshole.
Can't even give us a warning. Jeez. You guys wanna go back in time a little bit?
Sounds good.
Sure.
Let's do it.
So much.
So this is a story that is actually one that I grew up with because it happened pretty much in my backyard. Happened about a 30-minute drive from where I'm actually located.
Cool.
Yeah. So bringing you to my neck of the woods,
Minnesota.
Minnesota.
That was going to be my next question.
Okay, so August 27th, 1979 at 1:40 a.m. Weather conditions, humid, clear, with a slight breeze. Road conditions were dry and overall normal. This is as Deputy Sheriff Val Johnson was en route on Highway 220, just on the outskirts of Stephen, Minnesota, when all of a sudden, a blinding white light hovering above the asphalt appeared about a mile and a half ahead of him.
Sorry, I fucking love the name Val Johnson. It's such a perfect name. It sounds like an 80s cop.
He is, right? He's totally an 80s cop.
He's from Miami Vice. Yeah.
Yep, he's 35 at the time. And he describes the orb as a very bright, brilliant light, 8 to 12 inches in diameter, and it was floating 3 to 4 feet off the ground. And another very specific thing he says about this is that the edges of the light were very defined. He could see light, darkness, bam, bam.
So it couldn't have been a spotlight or anything.
Right, which is what he originally thought it was.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Val Johnson's seeing some shit. I like
Being
it.
a plate-sized ball of light, like a dinner plate, 8 to 12 inches, right? So he didn't know what he was looking at, and he thought that maybe his eyes were playing tricks on him. He blinked a few times, thinking he could focus the light out of existence. But before he even had time to react, remaining at highway speed, he collided with the light.
Oh shit. What does collided mean? What does collided mean? Like smashed into his car or into him? Like, did it go? I like it. Go. I'm curious.
For a brief moment, he thought...
Sorry. I cut you off mid-sentence.
No, it's actually a beginning of a sentence, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just something weird happens in between.
Okay.
So it's important to note. For a brief moment, he thought that the orb had entered the cab of his vehicle with him. He felt that the light had now surrounded his entire vehicle from the inside out.
Interesting.
He went inside the light.
He went inside the light. Or the light went inside his car with him.
Well, why would you drive into something like that, though? Like, what?
Why do you drive into a deer? It's not because you wanna. It's just because this is what happened.
Well, no, he saw it. He saw it a mile and a half down the road. If I see a mile and a half down the road, I'm not speeding up.
How long do you think a mile is going 100 clicks an hour?
60.
Is that how fast this guy was going?
Well,
Okay.
that's miles.
Okay.
But in Canada, it would be like around 110, I think.
Okay.
I got a quick question. Was he blinded by the light? Was he
Wrapped up like a douche, another runner in the night.
That's what I was gonna ask. Was he wrapped up like a douche in the rotor of the
How
night?
does one wrap a douche? With your legs? I don't know. Okay. All right. So he was quoted to say, it was there, and then it was here. He heard glass shattering and metal scraping, and then everything went black.
Sick.
Back. right. So all of a sudden, it was just in the car with him. He has no idea how it like shot at him that fast. To answer your question, Rami.
Okay.
39 minutes after the crash occurred, Val awoke in a daze and a bit shaken. He exited the vehicle and found that his 1977 Ford LTE Cruiser was sitting sideways, now blocking the other lane of the highway.
He didn't notice that when he was inside the car.
Yeah.
He blacked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you said he got out of the car and then noticed that his car was like across the other
Yeah.
side.
Oh, because he was dazed. He was dazed, yeah.
Oh,
So no,
okay.
he had no idea what the fuck was going on. Like
He
he woke up in
smokes.
basically a drunken stupor, but he was sober to the bone, I guess.
Had some salvia.
Yes, so he says.
He woke up like a douche in the rotor of the night. Anyways.
Need a little wet my whistle there for that one. Okay. All right. So there were tire marks all the way up to the back tires, about 500 feet away, seemingly an attempt at an abrupt stop. Val immediately radioed for help. When asked what happened or what the issue was, the dispatch stated that he sounded exhausted and a bit panicked when he answered, I think I hit something.
Douche.
It's a pretty good
Accurate statement.
well, that's, I mean, it'd be what you'd think if you woke up sideways on the highway, right? I'm surprised no one hit him. He's on the fucking sideways on the highway.
Shit.
You know?
As Deputy Johnson awaited his rescue, he examined the damages to his patrol car. He noticed that both antennas were snapped in half, sticking straight backwards. The driver's side of the windshield was spiderwebbed. One red section of the emergency light was smashed, and the driver's side headlight seemed to have exploded.
Wow.
That's
A lot of damage.
yeah, it's like you hit it like a deer or something. Like you hit something pretty big.
Like a moose.
It
Yeah.
seems like he hit something and it rolled over him or over the car, but
Yeah. I know what you did last summer.
I was about to say, this seems an awful lot like he's trying to explain killing someone with
Yeah.
aliens.
Yeah. Yeah.
well, he looked around and didn't see any other vehicles or signs of wreckage. No sign of wildlife or roadkill. No blood.
I was about
No
to ask that.
sounds. Surely it couldn't have been an animal. He walked a few feet this way and that way, trying to make sense of the event that just unfolded. But there was nothing out there with him, as far as he knew.
There's nobody in a slicker and a hook for a hand.
Well, you see, we live in very, very flat lands.
Yeah.
So if you were to take a step stool on a Wednesday and step up it, you could see both Sundays past and present.
That is the most Tali sentence ever. Like
Love.
It's actually a very well-known saying around here because it's
Is it
so
actually?
flat. Yeah.
Why is it so complicated? We have the same thing, except it was if your dog runs away, you can see it for 3 days. That's so much more to the point.
It's very exaggerated, the Minnesota one there.
You can see both Sundays, past and present. Lastly, he noticed that his eyes burned like crazy. So the shock wore off and he realized that his eyes were burning. He looked in the mirror and his eyes were blaze red and really puffy.
blinded by the light,
Yep.
stoned up like a douche into the rotor of the night.
Yeah, this isn't helping. I'm still thinking, okay, he killed someone because he was really fucking high. And he's blaming it on aliens.
So Sheriff Dennis Brecky arrived on scene to assess the situation. He spoke with Val, who told him he didn't remember what happened. This is what he woke up and he stated what I had just stated prior. So it was at this time that Brecky noticed that Val's wristwatch and the dial clock of the car radio were both reading exactly 14 minutes slower than originally set. Brecky verified that every shift Val was on, he religiously went through his checklist before heading out on patrol. He checked the lights, sirens, tires, etc. But he also did one other thing aside from the rest. He would sync his watch and his patrol car clock to the clock at the police station. So it was very, very odd for both to be missing exactly 14 minutes.
Now, this is a classic thing with abduction scenarios. Time goes missing all the time. But if he's trying to cover up a murder and he just puts the clock back 14 minutes before anyone asks,
there's no murder. Nobody died.
I think somebody did die. I think it is far weirder to me that he lines up his clocks every single day than it is that fucking aliens showed up. Who does that?
They were taking different
Yeah.
cars. Like, you always have a different car, you know, and it wasn't digital back then.
Val fucking Johnson does. Okay, he's super cop extraordinaire.
Yeah, but of course, this
Gotta
is the
wind
thing
him.
that's gonna happen to a guy that's religious about his fucking clock. Of
That's
course
true.
he's gonna lose fucking
It's
time.
true. He's setting up an alibi. It sounds like it. Look at this, guys. Look what I'm doing. I'm setting up my clocks. Everyone's like, yeah, we get it, Val. It's been like 3 months. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, we've seen you do it.
Yeah, just setting up the situation so when he kills someone, he can be like, "Oh, it was a ball of light."
When was this? What year?
1979.
This was after Roswell. Bullshit. I call bullshit.
So the physician who examined Val after the incident noted that the burning in his eyes appeared to be similar to flash burn, which is much like the eye injuries welders would experience if they accidentally looked at a welding arc without their protective helmet. So it's like a burning of the retina.
Blinded by light.
I wonder if they wrote this.
I was waiting
I
for
wonder
it.
if they wrote this song after Val Johnson. If he
Yeah.
inspired
Look
the
that
song.
And they make the lyrics so hard to figure out, so you can just change it to all parts of the story, like weld up like a douche until the burning of my eyes.
There were also a number of bruises and bumps noticeable on various parts of his body.
Talk to me about his anus.
As far as there's nothing to, it's unremarkable.
So the doctor did take a good hard look at this man's anus.
Good hard look at everything, I believe.
Okay. All right.
I don't know.
But the anus,
I'm just saying, if
though.
it was aliens, that anus would be looking a little bit worse for wear.
Aliens don't always check your butthole.
They did in the 70s.
Oh yeah, 70s aliens were all about the
They were
butts.
all about butt stuff. That's all they did.
But in reality, they'll jerk you off too. I'm
Oh!
not kidding. They'll jerk you
Okay.
Oh
off.
my god.
They want to know. So maybe he got jerked off. Yeah, maybe
Okay.
he got jerked
Did
off.
they check his testicles for how recently he had ejaculated his seed?
Gotta bring it up. You gotta bring it up.
Did they look for signs of emission?
We're not saying it.
If the story brings me down the path of jerking off, I'm bringing it up. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to talk about cum again.
You said it.
Oh, you
I was
just
wondering
said
how are
it.
you gonna incorporate it, and there you
Male
go.
emissions.
There it is.
Male
Yes.
emissions.
Male emissions. Did they check his testicles?
Listen, as far as I know, I don't know.
It's real fucking convenient.
Mhm.
We will have to ask Jerome Clark, I believe, is who wrote the book about him.
I will.
God damn it, John.
So after the event, Johnson stated that his phone rang off the hook about inquiries about his story. Wow, sorry. I lost where I was there. He was asked to be on Good Morning America, as well as many other news stations throughout the country that wanted an interview with him. He was kind of a big deal at the time. However, he quickly grew very tired of the attention. When asked to take a polygraph test for shits and giggles, Val declined. He said he just didn't want to deal with it anymore,
Convenient.
and that a polygraph would, quote, only satisfy the morbid curiosity, end quote.
I think it's because you're a
True,
fucking liar, Val. I think it's because you're lying.
Did he actually go on Good Morning America? So he doesn't mind reliving it when he's on the national morning talk show, but when it comes to a polygraph, I can't relive that again. Morbid curiosity, people.
It's just too much. You're not special, Val. We've all killed people.
Directly or indirectly.
Secondhand smoke is legit, people. Friends of his say he doesn't talk much about what happened that night, but when he does, he doesn't speculate on any of the evidence.
He wouldn't want any truth to come out.
He only goes so far as to say he saw an orb of light. He kept driving toward it. It suddenly was in the car with him. It's unexplainable and will remain so. And his mental stability is fully intact today.
I think he killed a hitchhiker.
Yep.
I think
So we don't have any here.
You don't have any hitchhikers?
This is their destination, usually.
not after Val Johnson.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't purposefully want to come here.
I don't think like just being serious for a second. I don't think that Val Johnson or anybody that says that they were abducted by aliens are using that as like a scapegoat, because most people that say they were abducted by aliens, their lives are fucking destroyed after. There's not like you get book deals, you get nothing. All you get is be called the fucking crazy alien guy around your hometown, and then it's hard to get work. Like, I can't think of one person, maybe Bob Lazar now, but Bob Lazar back in the day when he started saying aliens existed, people fucking laughed him
They
out.
erased his history. They erased his life.
Exactly. It wasn't beneficial to him. He even says it in the Netflix thing. He's like, I'm fucked.
He didn't say that, though. He didn't say he was abducted by aliens.
Oh,
No, but he said that he's around alien tech. My point is, whatever people start
worked at
talking about,
S4.
that's what I'm saying. So it doesn't matter. Anybody that, whatever, Bob Lazar is the only one I can think of that may have monetarily or benefited in any way by saying he was around any type of aliens. And that's only recently because of Netflix. Before that, he was a fucking joke.
Okay, but I'm not talking about Bob Lazar. I'm talking about Val. Val didn't say he was abducted by aliens. He didn't say anything about aliens.
Well, he said he said he got hit by an orb, which is alien shit.
Yeah, but we just assumed that he said this.
This is all speculation.
That he killed
yeah.
somebody, and then all of his cop buddies showed up, and they cleaned up all the evidence, and they came up with the light orb story for him.
Okay, that's fair.
Could be, yeah.
No.
Shut it right down.
I had to throw it back. Anyway. He says people don't call about that anymore. My favorite quote of his is, quote, I looked up at the sky and said, well, shucks, what happened? And shuffled on with my life. He went on to say that he was raising small children at the time. So he was more focused on that than any quote unquote alien sighting, or sorry, UFO sighting.
That's what I would do if I hit an orb of light.
Shuffle on, Val. Shuffle on.
That's why he picked up a hitchhiker. He's probably not getting any.
Oh.
He was probably
you
a
go.
serial killer. He probably did this like his entire 30-year cop career. He just
Ooh, I like
got
that theory.
wasted, set his clocks, synchronized his watches, went out to his patrol car and hotboxed himself to and then started driving the highways to find hitchhikers.
That's a good point. You know who has a fuck ton of weed? Cops, because they take away everyone's fucking weed.
I'm even thinking like Val Johnson sounds like a made up what a serial killer on the run's name would be. You know what I mean? It doesn't even sound like a real name. I'm gonna be a cop in Alaska. If this was in Alaska, I'd totally believe the serial killer.
Like, wait, he's still in Minnesota. What
I
are you
know,
guys
but
talking about?
if he was in Alaska, I would be like, he's a serial killer, but he's not in Alaska, he's in Minnesota, so people have
Is he
tabs
still
on him.
alive?
Same thing.
He's
He's
still
Tali,
still alive and 79 years old.
talk to me about what are you talking about? You never find bodies.
We don't find bodies around here.
Okay, see, people die.
Because Minnesotans must be really good at just disposing of them. You guys just bury them under the snow.
That's what I'm thinking.
Any missing person, which is like 3, have all been found within 48 hours.
You're telling me the entire state of Minnesota
Oh,
has had
no,
3 missing
no.
people.
Oh my God. Obviously, Northwest Minnesota, where I'm located, is what I'm
So
talking
your
about. We have a
locale.
corner. Yeah.
Yeah,
we have a corner.
Have you seen the movie Fargo, Tali? Have you seen that?
That's based on 0 true events. Yes.
Okay, 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 fine. You know what? Maybe they don't put the bodies where you're at. That makes sense.
Maybe he's sacrificing them to the aliens.
There you
I mean,
go.
okay, I guess
Oh.
if you had to pick a place to settle down for your harvesting, I suppose Northwest Minnesota is as good a place as any.
Yeah, maybe he's killing them and then the aliens take the bodies and they just are like experimenting on them. And that's why they're never found. There you go. We've solved
So
it.
he's doing every Minnesotan anus a favor here,
Yes.
is what he's doing.
He's sacrificing for the greater good.
No, I can just already see Tali.
No.
No.
No. He quit. He quit, moved on, went to Roseau County.
Okay, fine. What happens next?
Nothing.
That was the whole story.
The patrol
can sit in
car
the car.
still sits in the Marshall County Historical Museum as it was the night of August 27th, 1979. Many UFO enthusiasts come from all over the country just to see it. Some ask why they don't repair it. Others are just fascinated by the story and find it fully believable because of the source it came from, an authoritative figure.
Okay.
Skeptics believe he was just out bahaing through the fields in his cruiser and made up the story to cover his own ass after things got out of hand.
Oh my god.
That's more believable.
Ford Motor Company experts examined the destruction of the windshield. The findings were stated as, quote, an inward and outward force acting almost simultaneously, unquote.
That's the most supernatural thing out of this whole thing so far.
Sounds like good publicity for Ford.
And no explanation as to how this could have occurred has been established with testing.
Ford doesn't want to be like our windshields are shit, so they have to be like it had to be something supernatural because
What if at the same time that he hit somebody, he also ripped a massive fart?
There's so much pressure in the cabin.
That when the body hit the windshield, the
Yeah, there
fart also
The
hit the
force
windshield.
was like
And it was like, woo!
He just lifted his leg up and kicked the windshield where the homeless or the hitchhiker was.
That's what I'm saying.
It's evolved to a homeless hitchhiker now. I like that. We're into
Well,
homeless
are you
now.
guys ready for
I said homeless by accident.
a homeless hitchhiker with a hook for a hand.
Yes.
With a
And we have
trench coat.
0 bodies of water harbors anywhere around here. Just pointing that out.
So Val Johnson, when he went on, sorry, I'm still on this.
I do have a big kicker. Hold on. I do have a big kicker.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
I tried to find the video, but I can't find it. I'd love to see it.
So Honeywell Labs was also asked to investigate the bent antennas, and they
Okay.
concluded that the damage was caused by, quote, high velocity blasts of air, unquote,
High velocity blasts of air.
at 60 miles an hour.
Okay, so the hitchhiker farted too. What's the problem?
Yeah, excessive farts. Yes.
But like in reality, like how does that even
God,
happen?
what
Like
are
how
you people in Minnesota eating?
cheese.
Cheese and beer.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they tested it with LRADs.
But like, why would you test
Oh,
that?
You have a fart testing system?
It makes people go deaf, but yeah.
I just don't understand why you think like, you know what, it's probably nothing gonna hit. Let's test out just lots of air. Like, why would you even think that? Why would you even test that? Why wouldn't you just test like rocks or
So
deer
is it like
or...
bent backwards or something? Like, is
Yeah.
that what's going on?
Yeah, the antennas were all broken.
And remember, like they're testing to make the antennas do exactly as they're seeing on the car. So yeah, they probably threw rocks at it. They probably hit it with a blow dryer. They probably hit it with a torch. You know what I mean? Like to find
Yeah.
Damn.
what their possible
Yeah, they probably
conclusion
didn't
is.
just test it with air. I'm sure they tested it
Yeah.
with other things as well.
Just farted on it.
They just farted on it. Remy barely says anything. He comes in with a banger. He probably farted on it.
Okay, but what if they didn't test it with the right thing that would have done the exact same thing as air?
That's what I'm saying. Why air? Why is the air the choice? There could be a million things you could test that with. They didn't test all the million things. They went with air at some point, thinking that was a viable fucking thing. That
Okay,
seems dumb to me.
Richard, focus on the high velocity part instead of the air part.
How
Yeah.
high?
High enough to
What's the
bend
speed?
antennas backwards.
Well, what's the velocity, science man?
Yeah, we
I'm
want to know
not
the
a
speed
science
here.
man.
Well, tell me what the science men said. What was the velocity?
Air, probably.
Air isn't a
The
velocity.
velocity of air.
It's going. Oh my gosh.
But how
The velocity
Go
fast?
of-
back to science class.
How
What's the
fast?
What's the velocity
Girl, I
of
don't
oxygen?
Why are you asking? I don't know.
Because
I
you're
need to
telling
know.
the story.
I need to know how high the velocity is.
Ask the
Oh.
Goog.
Richard's
Ask
looking
Google.
for it.
Good. Someone find it. I need to know. I need to know how fast air has to move to
I'm
bend
just telling you what
antennas.
Honey Labs told me. That's all I got.
Well, it doesn't sound like Honey Labs is being perfectly honest.
How fast does a fart come out? Is it? And I want to know if
Yeah.
it measures up.
Let's
Oh,
have a look.
It depends.
I
It
will-
depends how much pressure there is behind the fart.
I will Google
yeah.
that.
Google world's fastest fart.
Okay.
Long-winded jokes. Am I right?
Fuck, man. Since starting this podcast, my search history is fucking crazy.
Yeah, listen, I did jump in it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah. The world's longest fart was 2 minutes and 42 seconds.
I watched the video of the world's longest fart. I want to know the fastest one.
The world's loudest fart was 113 decibels.
Holy fuck, that's so loud.
Fuck.
Damn.
How and why
Okay. According
are my
to
only questions.
according to a news report, farts can travel about 10 feet per second, or approximately 6.8 miles per hour.
Not
That
fast
is
That's
enough to
really
break your
fast, but not
windshield.
fast enough.
There's actually a scientist that studies flatulence is called a flatologist.
Oh, I should have done with my life.
Yeah, I thought ufologist was bad.
Okay, well the air is obviously moving at a fast rate as it is because he's whipping down the highway.
But antennas don't bend like that.
Yeah,
Well, especially not in the
flaps.
70s when shit was actually made well.
Yeah. Now I don't think
True.
is there even antennas on cars anymore?
They have little fins usually now.
Yeah, mine has a little fin on it.
Mine too. I still think he killed somebody.
Well, there's zero evidence. to
They were
support that.
farting.
There's zero evidence to support aliens.
True, but it's just unexplained. That's as far as
There's
I
Well,
can
like,
I think he was sacrificing townspeople to the aliens. He was keeping everyone else safe by sacrificing the townspeople, and by sacrificing the homeless hitchhiker with the hook for the hand, and just to keep everyone else in Minnesota safe. So well
True,
done, Val.
true.
Then why not take the polygraph?
he
True,
didn't want
that's a good
to.
point.
He didn't want to satisfy the morbid curiosity,
But like Richard was saying, like,
but like
what's-
bullshit, you know.
Want everyone to keep the guessing.
And why go on Good Morning America? That doesn't line up.
Yeah.
Just to tell
Exactly.
the events of what happened. He never like speculates on like what he thinks it could be. He just tells what happened.
Yeah, but why is my point? Like, what's the point of doing this?
So that Jerome Clark could write a book about it. He's an influential ufologist, and he wrote a book called the UFO Encyclopedia, and he claimed the Val Johnson incident, one of the top 10 most prominent UFO sightings in the world, and it's still heavily debated on social media platforms today. Reenactments have been featured on mystery shows such as Mysteries at the Museum and UFO Files.
But this wasn't a UFO sighting.
orbs, unidentified flying object. It doesn't have to be your
Yeah.
typical thing. It's something in the air that you don't understand.
Yeah.
But I thought it wasn't in the air.
It was
It
straight ahead of him.
was
It wasn't
3
on
to
the
4
ground.
feet. In
Yeah, it was like
there.
3
it
to 4
wasn't on
feet
the
up in the
floor.
air.
It was like floating above in front of him.
It was floating just high enough
Just like literally just
to
above.
explain exactly where the damage on the car was.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But there was no blood. There was no blood or
It was a
roadkill
kangaroo.
Cleaned it up
So what? I own a hose.
in 39 minutes with no water accessible to
with
him.
his police buddies.
An entire
Yeah.
fire department, they come with hoses on the cars.
The engineer from Honeywell, his name's Roland Wardell. He
Yeah,
says
that guy.
that like an electrical impulse can make all. Yeah, he can say all electrical fields can produce these effects. Also noting that they could be caused by a blast of air or by hand. But all the stuff at once, they're all very confused about why all those things, a rock wouldn't be able to smash the window the way it did. So he thinks it's an electrical impulse, and that kind of changes it. That makes it more supernatural, or
Did you just say it could be done by hand?
It could be, but all the things at once are it's improbable.
Unsubstantiated.
Yeah, so you'd have to have one event to make all those, because it's like a short window of time. Apparently, it could all be fucking hearsay for sure, but it is. The engineers had a hard time explaining all the damage. Just with, they'd have to get like 10 different lists of things, or it's an electrical impulse or something weird like that. Which, how does that make sense? He's in the middle of nowhere. Where's this electrical impulse coming? Because that could cause all the damage at once. The Matrix. I didn't even think of Keanu. Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That's where my mind goes.
They were taking down the squids.
I like alien stuff. I've never heard of Mr. Val Johnson before.
No,
So this
neither
is
have I.
interesting. Yeah. And I mean, I'm into this stuff.
He's in the top 10. So I mean, like, obviously not top 5, but
no, it's
he still makes it in there.
yeah. And he's still alive. He's still in Minnesota. He's got great grandchildren. He's a neat dude. He just doesn't give a shit about fame.
Yeah.
Apparently all of this could be caused by the car getting hit by lightning.
But it wasn't storming. Weather conditions clear.
Well, it doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be storming for there to be lightning.
Well, I mean, they're
dry lightning.
Like, it doesn't have to be raining or anything. All it takes is heat in the atmosphere.
That's true, yeah. It's silent too, actually.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But deadly.
I've seen that shit before. It's pretty freaky, actually.
I feel like for some reason that's ruled out, because otherwise I would have been like, it's lightning. Or I would have read that maybe that's a theory, but no, it's either he was bahaing or he hit something. He hit something, not something hit him. Or whatever. Who was there first?
Yeah. Who came first? The Blinded by the Light or Val Johnson? Which came first?
When and where and how was the douche used?
Yeah, with the whole orbs and everything right now, it's becoming more and more soft disclosed by the states that there's a lot of UAVs that there are unidentified aerial phenomena is what they're calling it now.
And we already know it's not China. We're checking if it's Russia, but they don't have the money or the technology to do it. So
even the governments now are starting to recognize that there's something else, whether it's all psychic driven or whether it's
there's something out there, man. There's something out there.
But it's always been the government's prerogative to say that it's not, it's made up. Whatever you guys are, now they're starting to agree and say, hey, maybe there is something to all this stuff. There's a new thing that I was listening to today about how like all this stuff is all aliens, like from back in the day, because there's a lot of mythical creatures that we don't hear about anymore. We hear about like Bigfoot and Chupacabra and aliens and stuff like that, but that's always been like Loch Ness is the same thing as an alien, as the same thing as, it's just the way we start perceiving our reality now that all of us together are making these new things, because we talk about aliens all the time. We don't talk about chimeras. Like, all of our collective consciousness is what's making this stuff exist the way it is. Anyways, I'm interested to see where the government goes with this shit very soon. The US government, because I don't know. I want to see what
it'll be super interesting. It'll be super interesting for sure.
I'm just gonna start shouting world peace everywhere I am now, just to make people start thinking about that instead of fucking aliens. Jesus Christ, let's manifest something worth it.
Hey guys, thanks so much for listening. Head on over to our Facebook and Instagram to join in on the conversations about all things unethical. Just search Unethical Podcast. You can also find us on Patreon, where you can get access to all of our super awesome content, uncut videos of our discussions, and early release of all the episodes. We are adding fun stuff all the time, so you should definitely come and check it out. Thanks again, we appreciate all of you.
Shimmy, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah, shimmy, yeah. Baby, I got your money. Hey, dirty.